Hello guys, and welcome to a new lesson of the jQuery Basics course of Race Karate. As always, go to racekarate.com, subscribe to our newsletter, and take a look to the transcript of the video, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I'm at Bastionbelandia. We are also at Race Karate. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel. We want to reach the 1000 subscribers. I hope when you see this video we have more than that. So let's start. In this lesson we are going to understand how to look in the documentation of jQuery and some other stuff like adding jQuery in our projects and so on. First of all, we are going to see the things that jQuery allows us to perform in the DOM and the document object model. And there are three categories or big things that we can do with jQuery. And the first one is manipulate the DOM. We can add, remove HTML elements, update or read HTML attributes, transform HTML elements. We are going to see all these in action in the next stage. We can also traverse the DOM. We can move elements from parent to its children, or from its child to its parent, and from sibling to another sibling, and so on. And we have also the event methods that are listeners for our keyboard and mouse events. Here is the link to the jQuery API documentation, and if you go there you will be able to see all the methods we have. And here in this sidebar we have all the categories that are encapsulated into any method. We talk the functionalities that we can do to the DOM. So what we're gonna do right now is let's look for a function that lets us update or read HTML attributes. If we go here to the sidebar of the jQuery API documentation, we can see here an attributes category. If we click there, you will see all the methods we can do for perform actions in the attributes of HTML elements. So the first method, let's take a look to this add class function. Let's click, and you will see here the documentation for this class, and I'm going to explain to you the structure of the documentation of jQuery, of all the methods of jQuery. First of all, we will find a description, and then we will find the different ways of call the method. So in this case we have two ways: the add class, and we can pass the CSS class name separated by space, and we have also the add class function, and it receives a handler, a function that can returns the string with space separated CSS classes. After the uses, we can see some examples of how to use both. We can how to use both. In this case we have add class. We pass a string with classes separated by spaces, and how to use with a function that returns the class names. So these we have examples, and lastly we have the demos for each. Well, there are several examples here, so we can see it in action in this page. So the structure is description, ways to call the method, some examples, and the demos. That's it. Almost all the functions have the same structure in the documentation, so you can feel more familiar with other functions. Now if you go here to the sidebar, we can see several categories. For example, we have here for traversing, we have these methods. You can see here everything we can do for traversing the DOM. And we have also for events, we have this category for events, where we can add listeners for the different events with keyboard and mouse. That's it. Now, well, there are several categories, but all these categories are resumed in these three big functionalities or things that we can do with the DOM for manipulating, traversing the DOM, and event methods. That's it. All these is resumed in these three categories. Okay. Now let's see how we can add jQuery to our projects. So if we go here to the jQuery API page, we can, here in the main menu, the first link is the download link. Let's click here and you will find different ways we can add jQuery into a project. We can download jQuery and add it into the folders of our project. For example, I can create here in the JS file and add the jQuery I download from here and add it in the HTML as any other JS file. Or, for example, I can, if I have a Mac, I can install jQuery in the machine using Bower, or, well, there are several methods we can use. However, my preferred method is use a CDN. What is a CDN? It's just a content delivery network. It's used for serve content around the globe. So in this case, we can use this CDN that is contained in this website or this URL, and we can just add it, and it is served on the internet. We can just use it, and as you can see, it's pretty easy. It's just replace this line with here in our code. If you take a look to the jQuery 1 HTML file, you will see that we already included or added jQuery to our project, but it is deprecated or not updated. So let's update it with the latest version, that is the 1.11.3. Use CDN is more faster because as it is served around the globe, users may have it already downloaded in their browsers, so that will be much faster than download the jQuery each time you load a file or you enter to a website. So it's better to use a CDN. It's my recommendation. So let's update this. We can't just add this line because we are working on Cloud9 and they have some rules for add jQuery. For example, like call it in HTTPS, specify the char set, the type. So we are just going to replace the URL and we are gonna let the HTTPS. We're gonna let this and we are going to replace with a new one. Now we have the new one. We save and it should be working the same way. As you can see, it still works. Most of the time we will find that the jQuery is added in the head tags right here. It is okay too because we were adding it at the end of the body tag, but we can also add it in the head tags. Some people like to add it like that. Let's see, and if we reload, you will see when we add the JavaScript, the jQuery within the head tags, this code right here runs before the DOM is loaded. So sometimes you will we will have problems running this code because this code will run before the DOM or before all this structure is loaded into the browser. So we need first to tell to jQuery to run this code or our code once the DOM is ready. So we have here I have here the ready, at the ready function that lets us run the execute some code once the DOM is fully loaded. So we have, it receives a handler of type function. So let me see, this is the different ways we can use it. As you can see here, well, this is not recommended. We can use this in this way or in this way. Let's see the first one. we can say, for example, I can create a function here, run after done, and this is equal to a function here, and I can say here document ready and pass the name of the function. I don't need to add the parentheses because I just need to know the handler, the name of the function, in this case only. So let's run this, and it works as expected. Let's see if we can avoid also the ready keyword or the ready function name. Just well, actually, we instead of create a function, most of the time you will see that people add it in an anonymous function like this. I can say here, for example, I can delete these parentheses, and I can create a function here and pass it, and let's see if it still works. And it works. And also we can avoid the ready and just deploy these or run this into the $sign function. It is. Let's see if it runs, and it runs. Basically, you will find both ways, added in the head tags and added at the end of the body tag. But my recommendation or the best practice is to add it in at the end of the body tag as we had it before, right here. This is best practice because this will load the jQuery once all the DOM of the page is ready or is loaded. Okay, and we can avoid the readies and everything, just adding the jQuery at the end of the body tag. This is the best practice, and we will use it as always that we can. We will try to use always this. And it works. Okay, and this was the last lesson of this stage, how jQuery works. And the next stage, we're going to start creating examples and working with jQuery and practicing in a real example. You will enjoy it. We have prepared a short quiz for you, a jQuiz. So once you solve the quiz, drop us a line on Twitter at RailsKarate with the hashtag jQuiz. Okay, see you next lesson. Bye bye.